history.
I do not shrink from this responsibility.
Today's groundbreaking heralds a new era for Cole, where athletic victories are matched with academic innovation, where we train the next generation of leaders on the field, in the boardroom, and in the lab, where athletes and doctors unite under one roof to accelerate the speed in which medical breakthroughs become clinical practice, where technology, invention, science, and sweat combine. This is Cole Fieldhouse, the home of fearless ideas.
Dr. Wallace Loh, President of the University of Maryland, College Park.
Morning, Terp Nation. Isn't this a great day to be a Terp? To be a Terp is all about pride. Pride about the University of Maryland and what we're going to celebrate today. So join me in a salute to Maryland. When I raise my arm, I want you to yell Maryland as loud as you can to make the ceiling of the new Cole Fieldhouse shake. We stand for love for the black and gold, deep in our hearts we hold, singing thy praises throughout. Go Terps, go! Thank you, and welcome to this celebration of the transformation of Cole Fieldhouse. 61 years ago, our predecessors dedicated Cole Fieldhouse. And in the ensuing decades, Cole Fieldhouse has been a symbol of the University of Maryland. More people have emotional attachment to Cole Fieldhouse than to any other facility on this campus. It is an iconic building. Who can forget that in 1966, unheard of, unheralded, Texas Western beat the almighty Kentucky team.
Terp Talk is brought to you by Viner Consulting.
But it also broke the color line. Who can forget that in 1971, a ping pong game was played here that thawed the Cold War, lifted the bamboo curtain, and changed the world. That's why Cole Fieldhouse is so important to the history of the University of Maryland. And today, we're here to celebrate a fearless innovation, the transformation of Cole Fieldhouse for the 21st century. As you know, athletics is the front porch of a university. But what the new Cole Fieldhouse will do is a 21st century porch that brings together not just athletics, but it's integrated with neuroscience, research on the brain recovery, and larger human health. It is about education in innovation and entrepreneurship. We are, in effect, this is the capstone of the partnership between the University of Maryland and the University of Maryland in Baltimore.
Terp Talk is brought to you by Viner Consulting, your source for point-of-sale systems that give you business control and manage your inventory. Hardware, software, training, and support from NCR and Revel Systems. Call Viner Consulting at 301-251-2900 or visit us at oneviner.com.
5 years ago, in March of 2013 or 2012, these two universities, these two campuses, form a partnership. Since that day, when there were very little interactions between the two campuses, we now have over 60 joint faculty appointments, They have generated together over $80 million in research funding that neither school could have generated on its own. And the capstone of that partnership, which is now codified in law, the capstone of that project, the symbol of that project, is the new Coalfield House. And I want to give a special shout out to my partner, the president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore, Jay Perman. You'll hear of him momentarily. It is because of his engagement and his support and our partnership that makes this moment possible. I also want to thank many others. You know it takes a village to build a new Coalfield House, and I want to thank all the members of that village. I want to thank the former Chancellor, Britt Kerwin, who encouraged us and supported us. Our current Chancellor, Bob Corrett, who's seeing this through its completion. To the members of the Board of Regents, there are many of them here today. Thank you for coming, current and past board members who've supported the strategic partnership and this project. I want to thank, of course, especially the state, Governor Hogan, the President of the Maryland State Senate, Mike Miller, the Speaker of the House, Mike Bush. They were instrumental in helping forge the strategic partnership and make possible this new facility. And of course, the donors. Kevin Plank, for his incredible generosity in getting the ball rolling, the 140 major donors who contributed to this facility. This is the largest fundraising project ever in the history of this university. And in 3.5 years, we have reached over 2/3 of our fundraising goal. That's an extraordinary accomplishment. And I want to thank all the staffs of both universities, the staff of the University System of Maryland, and of course, all the friends and donors of this university. Let me just conclude. Why is this a fearless innovation? Because fearless innovation expresses the motto. It expresses the attitude of PERPS. You all know that the terrapin is that little creature, that turtle, that can only walk forward. It cannot walk backwards. And how does that turtle walk forward? By sticking its neck out and taking one step at a time. That is the can-do spirit of TERPS. We think big, we aim high, we dare greatly. That is fearless ideas, fearless innovation, and we persevere. We never, ever give up. That attitude has lifted the University of Maryland to among the premier public research universities in the country, and it is that attitude that brought us here today to celebrate the opening of the new Coalfield House. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for your support. Go Terps!
Meyer Consulting Engineers. In the past 5 years, our organization has completed over 1,300 projects in the U.S. and abroad, including many structures at the University of Maryland. For structural engineering and materials testing and inspection, call Meyer Consulting Engineers.
Please welcome the Chancellor of the University System of Maryland, Dr. Robert Corrett.
One hates to follow Wallace on an event like this, but great energy and just another great day for the University of Maryland and the University System of Maryland. When our two premier campuses from a research perspective come together and do great things, it raises the entire system. And that's what we call systemness, working together. I'd like to also take a moment to thank a few people that are here today. Obviously the two presidents, President Loh and President Perman, who you'll hear from in a moment. The Board of Regents, both past and current, who have been very, very supportive of this project. And I know Jim Brady is here, the chairman of the board, someplace out there in the audience. And we thank him and the board for the support that they've provided. President Miller for the leadership he's provided at the legislative level to make this and so many other things happen within the system. This project is I think, the primary example of what collaboration within a system can do. When you bring a system together, it's brought together for a number of reasons, and one of them is to have a combined impact from the campuses that make up that system. And you have that combined impact by having the campuses work together. And as you know from all the work you've done in different venues, having people collaborate and cooperate isn't always as easy as it sounds. You have to give them an incentive. You have to give them a reason. And the Cole Fieldhouse became a reason. It became part of Empower. It became part of systemness. It became part of what we can do as a system, not only for the two campuses involved, but for the system as a whole, for the state as a whole, and in many ways for the nation as a whole. The two campuses complement each other. Much of the great research in this country comes from the medical school, for example, working with the engineering college, or the medical school working with the College of Sciences, particularly in chemistry and polymer chemistry. Bringing the various disciplines together, taking the research expertise on those campuses, and finding ways that they can work together, as President Loh just said, to bring in $80 million in new grants that might not have been possible if they had not come together to work together, is what systemness, collaboration, and partnership is all about. That energy is going to provide us, as you're hearing today, with a variety of new tools to work with, using this facility and the facility that will continue to grow with it over the next decades. Cutting-edge research in genomics, in sports medicine, in brain science, innovation and entrepreneurship to bring new ideas to life, athletic training through the Terrabin Performance Center, and ambulatory care through the orthopedic center that will be here. So many different pieces that are in some ways different, but work together to make this the kind of facility that it will be, a unique facility, the only facility of its type in the country. Yesterday I was reading an article in the Baltimore Sun where they quoted Coach Williams, and I stole one of his quotes where it says, "It was hard for me to see Cole sit there and not be part of the university like it was for so many years." Coach, thank you, and for everybody involved in this project. Today you've made this project come to life. Cole is back with us. It's part of the future. The future looks bright, and it's all because of all that you've done together. Thank you for being with us today.
Cole Fieldhouse, the showpiece of the University of Maryland Strategic Partnership, empowering the state, brings together the research powerhouses of the University of Maryland, Baltimore, and the University of Maryland, College Park. Fueled by a $3 million investment from Empower, the collaborative work happening here will ignite academic innovation and drive economic empowerment. Its state-of-the-art research center and world-renowned faculty will fuel breakthroughs in understanding how the brain works that will help our student-athletes, our veterans, and our community. Cole Fieldhouse, putting Maryland at the forefront of the science of sport.
Dr. Jay Perman, President of the University of Maryland, Baltimore.
You know, that video gets it just right. This is a showpiece of collaboration, a showpiece of the best science and the best scientists coming together under the University of Maryland Strategic Partnership to answer our most important questions of human performance and to solve our most urgent challenges of injury prevention and recovery. I know you've seen the headlines recently about degenerative brain disease among former football players, disease seemingly associated with repeated head trauma. The headlines are scary, they're alarming, but I'm glad they've gotten our attention, because they should. And because the questions they raise are exactly the questions we'll start answering here at Cole. How do we make sure that no student athlete risks this kind of injury? How do we minimize any damage so that brain health is preserved? Because the fact is, we love our Terps. We love our sports, but we love our athletes even more. And we have an obligation to them. We have an obligation to ensure they live healthy, happy lives long after their playing days are over. More than that, we have an obligation to take all of the research we pioneer in this space and to use it every day, helping people across our state and around the world. Our School of Medicine is doing game-changing work in neuroscience, orthopedics, rehabilitation. And I've watched these researchers and practitioners take that work to the biologists and computer scientists and engineers here at College Park. What they make together out of all of this novel science are solutions to our most devastating problems of human injury and disease. They make answers many of us wouldn't have even dreamed of a decade ago. They make new paths where old ones dead end, and new disciplines where old ones fall short. And so I know what the future of Cole Fieldhouse looks like. It looks like hope to millions of Americans who suffer debilitating injury. And it looks like home to everyone who's serious about cutting-edge leadership in the science of sports. Thank you all for making this happen.
Please welcome Maryland Senate President Thomas V. Mike Miller, Jr.
I've got one of those injuries you were talking about. I can't walk, but anyway, it's a privilege and honor to be here. So many distinguished guests. I'm going to be very brief. Two people who aren't here. Honestly, this was Kevin Plank's idea. Kevin is very busy right now. He couldn't be here. But when we first talked about this at his first Sagamore Farm event, he said, we need a new indoor practice field. And I said, that's great, Kevin. I can't believe it. And he says, I said, what are you thinking about? He said, something like at UVA, maybe 20 million, 25 million. I think he thought he was going to pay for the whole thing, himself, And I said, well, that's fabulous. And anyway, this is what the result of it came about. But he had the initiative, he had the idea. And another person who couldn't be here today that we need to thank is Governor Hogan, okay? I've known him for 50 years, 50 years, okay? So anyway, I was the driver for the Republican candidate for governor back in 1962. I was a sophomore here at College Park, 18 years of age, and I had a PR guy riding me all summer and fall named Larry Hogan Sr., okay? So he would come and he'd bring the 5-year-old, put him in the back seat, Larry Hogan Jr. So I've known him since he's 5 years old. And so a week before the election, he wasn't sure whether he was going to get elected or not. And he thought he was. I was sure he wasn't. And so we met at Rips and Bowie. And he said, anything I need to know? I said, well, Governor, I said, I got you on the hook for $25 million. He said, what? I said, I made a commitment, and we need you to help keep it. And not only did he help us keep it by putting $5 million in each year, but another $15 million on top. So the state's commitment, this is $40 million. And it couldn't have happened, this couldn't have happened with Kevin Plank and Larry Hogan Jr. But also, we want to give thanks to everybody who's participated. I want to thank all the coaches. Gary, you're fabulous. All the coaches here, all the coaches, men, women, stand up. Talk about sports being the front porch of this university, stand up. DJ, work up. Where's Mark Turvey? All the coaches, men and women, please. Let's get We also, some visionaries took us to the Big Ten. That was a ballsy move, I can tell you that right now, the Big Ten. And it was not just for athletics, it was for academics as well, an academic consortium, you see. And so instead of dealing with Tobacco Road, we're dealing with Wisconsin, Michigan State. We're dealing with the big schools, and it's helped put Maryland on the map. And so Dr. Loh, thank you for your vision. You know, and it helped that you were a provost at Iowa, but thank you for your vision of taking us to the Big Ten. And thank you for all the magical things that are happening on this campus right now. I mean, the Brendan Reeve Computer Center, the Ed St. John Building, the Clark Engineering Building, the 4-star hotel on Route 1. College Park has taken off. The University of Maryland College Park has taken off largely because of Dr. Loh's vision, and we want to give him a nice round of applause. Thank you so much. Another person needs to be credited for Empower. That is Britt Kerwin. When Britt Kerwin said goodbye to us at College Park and he was off to take chancellorship of Ohio State, he wrote a long epistle. Well, this is what needs to happen, and it hadn't happened. This is what needs to happen. College Park and the professional schools need to be brought together. And so that his message to us has been our Bible in coming forth to create this Empower relationship. Putting the flagship campus with professional schools. Almost every other state has that happen, but up until Britt's vision, they were siloed off from one another. So we had these young inventors. They want to know how the brain works. Well, guess what? We didn't have engineering and medicine talking to one another until now. And now we've got these joint projects. Dr. Perman, it couldn't have happened without your leadership, and hoping to do away with some old stereotypes, some old biases, and say, look, let's make this happen for the good of the state. So Dr. Perman, thank you so very much for making this happen too. It's a great day. I mean, just a great day. It's a win-win for the students. It's a win-win for medicine, and it's a win-win for academics. And I know it's, having dealt with the faculty and trying to get the Comcast Center built, you know, and some other things, they say, why are you spending this money in this? Let me just tell you this, folks. $61 million of this project is devoted to academics. $61 million to academia. This is not just a football field. This is a College Park academic building, okay? People had visions in making this happen, and their visions of coming true, and everything is right in College Park, everything is right in the system right now, and everything is right in the state of Maryland. God bless you. Thank you so much. It's a privilege and honor to be here. Thank you.
You've never seen Cole like this. 5 decades of sports history live on in the most technologically advanced and innovative training facility in intercollegiate athletics. 2 outdoor football fields, a state-of-the-art locker room, advanced strength, conditioning, and hydrotherapy centers, a signature indoor practice field that will provide our student athletes the opportunity to train all year round. All steps from Maryland Stadium and under the same roof as a world-class sports medicine program. Cole Fieldhouse. Here, our athletes train to make history. Again.
Your University of Maryland head football coach, D.J. Durkin.
Thank you everyone for being here. Good morning to you. Mike, thanks for those kind words, man. That was awesome. It was right on target. It was great. Appreciate all your help and you being here. What a special day. How about this place? I mean, wow. It's unbelievable. If you've been around me at all for the past couple weeks, it's hard to wipe the smile off my face. I've been walking around with a permanent smile, largely because of this building being put together. We're about to start our season and all that, but this is truly amazing. There's so many people that went into this and helping get this done. Just a tremendous effort from so many. It was really cool. I just had a cool experience walking in here. So I was walking up from the offices to come over to this, and it just so happened it timed up as I was walking up. Coach Williams was walking at the same time. And my memories of Cole Fieldhouse are, Coach Williams on the sideline, just sweat everywhere, yelling at players, officials, anyone near him. And to walk in this building with him, I know it was his first time, walking in it since everything's completed. was pretty special, really special. So I just want to thank you, Coach Williams, for all your help, and I know this place is special. I think, you know, when you think about it and you boil things down in life, it's really about what positive influence, what positive effect have you had on others. I think that's what it all comes down to. And I don't care if I'm not just talking coaching, an educator, a doctor, a politician, or whatever your profession, whatever it is you do. It's really about what type of positive influence or effect have you had on others in your life. I think anytime you can do that with young people, our youth, it's even extra special. And I don't know how many people saw or had a chance to look at when we came through for our first workout. We brought the team up for a workout last week, and it was their first time ever being in the building. They had not been in here. A couple guys on our leadership team I had walked through, and it was still under construction, but no one had been up here since it was completed. So we walked in that door down there, and we had our video staff with their cameras ready, and just to see the looks on our guys' faces when they walked through was everything. I'm telling you, it's what it's all about. It was just a special moment for those guys, and especially some of our older guys, our veteran guys, that quite honestly, I think if you asked them an honest moment, they probably thought this would never really happen. They've been told about it, it's been talked about for a long time, but I don't think they really thought it was going to happen. And when they walked through and saw it, it was amazing. It was a great moment in coaching, and this building's a game changer for us. I mean, that says it all right there. It is a game changer for us with our team, with the development, with what we'll be able to do on a day-to-day basis in here. You know, in recruiting and all of those things. You really can't measure it. It's a state-of-the-art, you know, nicest facility you can really find in the country. That's what's being put up here. And so, you know, again, it's just a tremendous day for our entire program and our entire university. I think it's a game changer for all aspects of the university. I often get asked in different interviews and that, Coach, what's the difference between coaching in college, coaching professionally? Do you think that's something you want to do and whatnot? And it's a really easy answer for me. Coaching at the college level, this is what it's all about. You're with young men at an impressionable time in their life, and you can have that positive effect I was talking about with them. You're part of a community. There's a sense of community around the university where it's bigger than just you, your sport, and what's going on. Mike had our coaches stand up earlier, and we have what a tremendous coaching staff we have at this university from top to bottom. It's amazing as a coach to be able to have those friendships with those that coach in other sports and people you can ask advice and questions of. You can't even measure that. I think a huge part of it is I'm a strong believer in higher education. And you're part of, there's a big picture educationally, and what you do as a coach and in your sport is just a small piece of that. There's a big picture, and to educate our youth and give those guys opportunities in life to learn things and provide themselves, their families, a successful life moving forward is really what it's all about. I think that's what you get at this level. When you look at this building, it embodies all of that. It embodies everything I just talked about. When you talk about our Center for Sports Medicine, the Orthopedic Clinic, the Academy for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. This building is like a giant collaborative laboratory every day of what college athletics is all about, what higher education is all about, all working together. So I know we made some mention and talked about that. I can tell you this from our standpoint, we pay attention across the country to facilities and buildings people are putting up. We got to recruit against those people, so you pay attention to what's going on. This is a one-of-a-kind building. There's not another one like it. And for us to be, leaders in that field and leaders of doing it, collaborating and incorporating, education and athletics all together, because it all does run together, I think it's just a tremendous thing for us, and we can all be proud of that, I believe. It would be impossible right now to thank everyone that's had and played a role in this. I know some names have been mentioned. I would like to mention a couple people just in terms of our leadership as a university. Dr. Loh, obviously, just for your leadership, your vision, just tremendous. For all of us to be standing here, sitting here today and going through this, thank you for that. Chancellor Corrett, thank you very much. Again, this could not happen. We know that without you guys all being on board and really seeing big picture-wise where we're going and where this all can play. Our athletic director, Kevin Anderson, thank you for, I know how hard you've worked on this to get this done. Just a tremendous day, and there's so many, and Mike mentioned Kevin Plank earlier, and he did get the ball rolling, and what a tremendous supporter and I value his friendship and his support for this program, this university. It goes beyond measure. But there's so many people to mention, and I saw Barry Gossett here today, and thank you for your friendship and your support. I know you played such a big role in keeping this thing rolling and getting going. And you know, I hate to just mention a few because we can't mention them all, but I'll just tell you this. Your generosity to those 140 plus people that have donated to this, that have been a part of this, it is appreciated much more than you could ever imagine or would know. This is such a tremendous day for our program, for our players, for the young men, young women, the young students of this university and this campus, and that's why we're all here. That's what this is all about. So thank you very much.
Joining Coach Durkin on the stage to cut the ceremonial ribbon is Maryland Senate President Miller, President Loh, President Herman, Director of Athletics Kevin Anderson, Terrapin Club President Mike Freeman, and former Maryland men's basketball coach Gary Williams.
have a long history of innovation. Thanks to Cole Fieldhouse, the time between a fearless idea and a global empire just got a little shorter. The new Academy for Innovation and Entrepreneurship will give students a unique cross-discipline home to tackle the world's toughest challenges. The Academy builds on the successful student-run Startup Shell program, nurturing students as they brainstorm, pitch, and develop their innovations into the next big startup. Our students aren't just training for 4 years, they're ready for a lifetime of changing the world. Cole Fieldhouse, where fearless ideas become global game changers.
The Chancellor Emeritus of the University System of Maryland, Dr. Britt Kerwin.
Thank you. Wow. Is this an amazing place or what? You know, when I walked in here, I saw Coach Durkin, and I said, you know, when I was at Ohio State, they had an indoor facility. How does this compare in size to theirs? And he said, it's bigger. I said, thank God. You watch out, Buckeyes. Like all of you, I'm sure, I have so many wonderful memories of this place. I feel like I grew up in Cole Fieldhouse, coming here to cheer our Terps onto victory, including 2 Final Four appearances and a national championship. Coach Williams, huh? I would be sitting on this side of the floor and I'd watch you bring those Terps home to victory. God, what wonderful, wonderful memories. You know, this building had an amazing way of uniting the Terrapin community. But what's so exciting about the new coal is that it will once again be bringing us together by uniting our athletic and academic communities. In addition to being a state-of-the-art football practice field, as you've heard, the new coal will be a unique, first-of-its-kind research